Gabby, firstly, when I came in a minute ago, you dunked your head on the wall. What happened?
Not in the wall, in the Augusto head. We had head-to-head.
Oh.
And he has a very hard head.
He was wearing his helmet, I think. Your car?
Well, the car is fine. I mean, just this morning I had some technical issue, and in the end we had some doubt on the engine. We changed the engine before the race too, and now it seems okay. We just set the engine map, and everything seems okay. We have some doubt about the clutch, but we will see.
It's in these hot weather starts that the clutch takes even more of a beating than anywhere else. And they are... The problem is, if you're at the front of the grid, Matt, you end up spending quite a long time sitting on the clutch with a sequential gearbox. Do you have a genuine neutral like you do, or do you have to keep the clutch pedal pressed down all the time?
Yeah, you'll have a neutral, and you won't hold it on the clutch until the start sequence has been activated, and then you'll go through the start procedure.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about what's going on at Hyundai with Augusto Farfus.
This does not seem to be you or Gabby's day. You came in, you went out, you came back in, you went out. What's going on?
Yeah, we had to do big changes after qualifying, and the car was not working properly. So there is not much time, so we're just trying to get the car to work. There is still some mechanical issues in the car. The boys, they did an amazing job, all the BRC boys, because the amount of work they had to change the engine after qualifying, it was impressive. And the car is out there, so let's see if now the car gets back strong and hope for a clean race.
When did you establish that you had the problems?
Well, initially we thought I could have even missed the race one. There was even this on the agenda, because to change an engine and to get the car back on the road, it is a massive job. And at the end, the boys, they pushed as hard as they could, and the car got back in the race. But we could not shake down the car, and we could not do all the checks necessary to get the car to work. Therefore, I went out, and I had initially a gearbox pressure failure. Then the engine was not working properly, so I had to do some changes. Now, hopefully, the car will be strong enough to get some points.
Fingers crossed.
Yesterday, good race for Augusto, ended up finishing strongly, but most importantly, ended up as the rear gunner for Norbert Mikulits, helping his teammates guarantee those 25 points for victory. Started second on the grid, Augusto, qualified very well, but then got got beaten through the Joker lap by Jan Erlechet, who moved up into second place, having started in third. Jan starts third here again for race 3 of the weekend, ahead of Uncle Ivan Muller, who is in fourth. But it's Thiago Monteiro and Attila Tashi who are the teammates on the front row for race 3. Bumper splitter and all sorts of tracking and other bits and bobs need doing to Kevin Chicon's car. Repair time is go. And Norby, there might not be an awful lot back on his car by the time he needs to leave for the grid. Pit lane opens in 4 minutes 30 seconds, closes in 14 minutes 30 seconds. And the cars must be out of the pit lane by then. Well, you can see work going on at Hyundai on Norby's car, work going on at Team Mulsanne on Kevin Chicon's car as well, after what was a very unfortunate incident for both drivers. Alex is down with Kevin. We'll catch up with him and find out his views on what happened there and how the two cars ended up in the same bit of road.
Kevin, Villarreal is not your friend, is it? What was going on there that caused the incident with Norby?
I don't know. I had a problem with the front right suspension because my mechanics did an amazing job to repair the car after this morning big shunt. And so I had a problem going to T18, T19. Norby arrived really quick. He hit me hard before the chicane and after chicane. Honestly, I don't know what happened. Maybe a bit too much pressure because he's fighting for the championship. Normally, Norby is a very correct and fair driver, so it can happen maybe one day to be a bit more nervous. From my side, I thanks really a lot my team, my crew. They did an amazing job to repair the car after my mistake this morning. So I am really grateful to them. And I say that in China I will pay as much beer as they want because they did a great job.
There must have been an element of uncertainty going into that race anyway as a result of your earlier incident.
Yeah, we don't know the setup. First of all, I will just follow what Ma did because he did a great result. He finished second, so it's good. And then I will try to score some points starting in P12. It's what I can do from there, honestly. And I have a lot of pain on my back, so I think I can't do more than that, honestly. So let's go for some points.
Are you still in favour of Villarreal? Yesterday you were like, I still like it.
Today a bit less, much less. So hopefully next year is going to be better, Villarreal with me.
Fingers crossed for a better race.
Well, first time here at Villarreal, of course, for Kevin Chacon, because last year at Villarreal he was not part of the squad. He only started in WTCR at Slovakia, which last year was after the European races had finished, because it was a late substitute for the race in Argentina, which then did not happen. So it was his first time here. It is his first time here. Yesterday he was kind of okay. Today a little less so. And the big hit with the barriers, that's what gave him problems with his back, and getting clattered a couple of times from behind by Norby won't have helped with that either. Well, the guys there trying to straighten up the car. You can see Norby's car is gradually going back together. I wonder if they'd notice if I slipped my knackered old Morris Minor into the grid one day during repairs and they could do a ground-up restoration on it. What do you reckon are the chances, Matt? They know what they're doing.
Sure they wouldn't notice a thing, Martin, with your engineering prowess that's gone into the Morris Minor.
It looks as battered as some of these things, that's for sure.
They must be getting a bit thin on the ground for alpha panels, haven't they? This all right-hand panels at the moment.
Yeah, well, you can see some bits have been hastily patched up, some bits they've just had to leave. But there we go.
It's what bits of car are left amid the gaffer tape.
This is a little reminiscent of race 1 last year, isn't it, where cars were being fixed on the grid in then really scorching heat. I mean, it was 60 degrees Celsius under the cars on the tarmac. It was absolutely brutal as the teams worked like Trojans to get the cars ready for the race. There won't be a car here that's not having some work done. That'll be very common here, won't it? You know, new brakes going in or better brakes going in, because this is brutal on the stopping and the heat isn't helping much either.
Yeah, the pit lane opens in less than 10 seconds now, and they have 10 minutes to exit the pit lane. So it's a race against the clock. They'll be well drilled. The guys on all the crews will be, but it's going to be tight for some of the guys who've got to make the repairs as well. Yeah.
Well, the crews are working very hard. The drivers are gathering their thoughts and/or having a power nap. Apparently, Frederick Vervisch is trying to have a little kip in the back of the garage, or at least eyes closed, calming down and getting that little moment to compose your thoughts. Because, Matt, any race you go into, you want to be utterly sharp. And here, it's double the case. This was after qualifying Augusto Farfus's car. And that's the damage that they had to repair, as well as changing the engine.
Just shows what just a mere glancing blow with the Armco or wall can do. It just goes catastrophic damage to these cars. I mean, they are built for the robustness of touring car racing, but the impacts in them are phenomenal. Yeah, Vervisch meditating, obviously. It's his yoga position. I haven't seen that yoga position before, but I'm sure it's a very valid one.
That's the down shep, I think that is. Alex can probably comment, being a yoga instructor. So Frederick Vervisch is a sea of tranquility, been there, done that, seen it all. And the things he's driven definitely outnumber the kind of things he's never driven.
He's really one of Audi's workhorses, isn't he? They throw him into everything. Touring car racing, GT racing.
And a single-seater race before that, you know, had a long single-seater career, as did a number of the drivers, you know. I mean, Kevin Chacon, the last time we saw him before he joined us with Alpha, he was in the support race for World Touring Cars in single-seaters. So they've all got, you know, a degree of variety. And you know, even in like your career, all you ever wanted to do was race touring cars. But boy, you've raced some different touring cars, haven't you? And every one of those teaches you more things.
Yeah, Verfish is probably, he's like the Audi's factory cat.
What, always asleep?
He's Eurosport's Tom Gamemore. They call him when he comes.
and then nods off, always asleep. There is Tom Coronel, who will start 24th here on the grid. Benny Leuchter, you just saw, he'll start 22nd. This is a view from Norbicam. Bonnet soon to go down. Tyres going on Ted Björk's car. 7.5 minutes to leave the pit lane. And for Esteban Guerrieri, another potential points grab here to keep himself at the top of the table. Pit lane closes in a little over 7 minutes. 7 minutes from now, cars will need to be down, engine running and driving out of the pits, because otherwise you'll get trapped here, and this is where you'll start the race. You can do more work on the grid, so the car doesn't have to be completely complete. It just has to be drivable. Kevin Chacon's team may have other things that they need to do to the car. He's already left the pit lane though. It's got its wheels on. And one of the reasons for leaving as early as you can and having an outlap match will be to get a feel for the car. They think they've got everything squared up. You get to the grid and you can report back to them going, great, it's fine, or I've got a big vibration here, or it's making that noise there, or whatever.
Yeah, they need to get him out as early as possible, because it's just any field little nearly points. But he's like a championship boxer, isn't he? They keep on. He goes out for his round, gets absolutely doffed up, comes back in, they patch him up and send him back out again. He's definitely had a few rounds with a big heavyweight this weekend.
Yeah, he has. He'll know all about it by early part of next week. I mean, he does already, but okay, in comes 88, Nicky Katzberg. And out goes 86, Esteban Guerrieri. Pit lane is starting to empty. Mind your backs. Nicky Katzberg coming up behind. That's why so many pit lanes have a pit lane hooter that repeats all the way down the pit lane, so pedestrians know that cars are coming. They don't just leave.
Yeah, just looking inside Yann Lachey's Lincoln Co. there, the central net, which is not mandatory in WTCR, but it's recommended. It's going to become a mandatory thing before long in British touring cars. It's to try and stop your arms and your head flailing around. Much like the window net, which we're looking through now, so it's just to stop the drivers going the other way too. Yeah,
and help stop debris coming in as well. I wonder how many front ends, particularly wings and radiator cover. Oh,
he's up, yeah. Good morning.
Is it breakfast time already? Fred Vervish getting ready to head out. And where's he going to start on the grid? I've lost him. 13th, so exactly halfway down.
Was a different few guys at the front of the grid, isn't it? The sharp end for this one, Martin.
Yes. I did say, you know, as we were in qualifying, it just looked like somebody had taken the names from yesterday, tossed them all out the window and thrown all the others up in the air, because of the top 10 from yesterday, only 5 made the top 10 today, and they don't include yesterday's race winner Norbert Mikulits, who starts in 16th, second in the championship. They don't include Ted Björk, who starts 15th, who's third in the championship, but today they do include Esteban Guerrieri, who will start here in 9th place, our points lead.
It's like a perennial sand egg timer, isn't it? You turn it upside down, and the next
yes.
one. You know, the constant ones in here, you'd have to say, probably don't have the outright speed to do the job, but have been there at every session. The likes of Huffy, Katzberg, you know, they haven't had the absolute speed to do it, but they've been there and doing the good job, a good solid job at each session. Just not quite fast enough to challenge for the podiums.
This weekend has been proper snakes and ladders for a lot of drivers, hasn't it? You know, you're up, you're down. Look at Norby. Yesterday, pole, Hyundai 1-2, won the race. Today, couldn't find yesterday's pace with a map and a torch. Ended up retiring from race 1, having had a collision and being handed a drive-through. And now he'll start in 16th place again. Augusto Farfus's car is 3 minutes from disaster. They need to get a wheel on that car and get it out of the pit lane, no matter what else isn't attached to it.
Yeah, you look at the change of fortunes in Q1 yesterday. I think we had, at one point, we had 4 Hyundais in the top 6.
Yeah.
Now there's, what?
Well, 4 Hondas in the top 6.
Now we're 4 Hondas.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But yesterday it was the other way around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Katzberg's their leading challenge at the moment, and what's he, back on the 4th row in this one?
Well, again, talk about snakes and ladders. Down at the bottom of the ladder all season long, and this is our 6th race weekend of 10, don't forget. So for half the season, KCMG have been, well, without being too blunt about it, off the pace. Their Hondas have not at any stage shown the pace of the Munich Motorsport cars, and yet today, Thiago Monteiro, KCMG Honda, qualified 2nd, and this young man, Attila Tashi, KCMG Honda, qualified on pole. And he was fastest in Q2, went last with all the pressure of all the former champions that had gone in front of him, and still blew them away and put in the pole lap. So KCMG have gone from off the pace, what are we doing, where are we going, to being the better Honda team. Now, you might say, okay, well, if they're sharing information now with Munich Motorsport, then they've got a much better handle on things. But Munich haven't got a great handle on things here. Girolami's 11th, Guerrieri 9th.
Yeah, I mean, without wanting to be disparaging to anybody, you'd almost say that at the beginning of the season, the KCMG team was almost an afterthought. You know, the focus was on All Inkle. You know, they were the 2-star drivers in it, and you know, Thiago's still an unknown quantity. Yeah. He's still in recovery mode. Yeah. You know, Attila's the young hotshot. It could be, could not. You know, it's almost like, oh, we'll throw those two together and see what we get, but the focus is going to be All Inkle.
Well, you know, I think Munich Motorsport, I mean, Munich have been in the championship for, what, 7, 8 years now, and, of course, in World Touring Cars and then now in WTCR, so they knew what they had, they hit the ground running, it's an already existing team, all the team members are there, and so, yes, the driver lineup has changed a little bit by adding in Nesta Girolami, but they already knew pretty much where they were, and they were sorted early pre-season and had testing and work together on the car and all of that. And you're right, the KCMG Yasport deal came together late. And as a result, they have been playing catch-up. Well, now, here today, they've caught up. And in fact, they have overhauled their Honda rivals.
Yeah, haven't they just?
Well, Augusto Farfus, if he starts the race at all, will be starting from the grid.
The Italian screwdriver there.
That's the Birmingham screwdriver as well, isn't it? And, you know, if that was my car, I'd be saying their starter motor won't engage, which is why they're whacking it with a hammer. I'm not quite sure what it is down there that they are trying to adjust.
Well, I think they're whacking anything that Augusta hasn't damaged so far. They're trying to make it look uniform.
That bit's
just
straight.
Let's
make sure it matches the
rest of the car.
Well, the rest of it looks beautiful outside. Oh, look, here we go. Here are some of the fabulous posters that are up around town in our hotel. There's loads of those posters and photos. Over the years, this is the 50th race festival here on the streets of Villarreal. The first ever was back in 1931. And here we are in 2019, still doing it. Look, some great artwork over the years. And some great races, I'm sure, over many years. Cars and motorcycles. And if you think this is a quick and slightly dangerous track now, imagine it twice the length in the 1930s.
Yeah, because the circuit has changed over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Imagine that with 1930s Grand Prix cars. I mean, it wasn't a Grand Prix, it wasn't a Formula One race, but there will have been older cars like that racing in the 30s, 40s, 50s. and in with motorcycles.
I
I
was
mean,
about to say
they only stopped motorcycle racing at the very end of the 80s. I mean, it was proper nutso. Well, very much in the spirit and half in the wheel tracks of the old circuit is the modern Circuito Internacional de Villarreal. And the man who will get the best view of it in our final race will be our DHL pole sitter Attila Tashi. And alongside him, the local hero, his teammate, Thiago Monteiro.
Hello everyone, here we are on the starting grid. I am P2 at the moment, which was a fantastic qualifying. P1 for my teammate Attila, he did a great job. We're so motivated to try and give a good show to these amazing fans and public here in Villarreal. So it's so good to be in the pace here in my home race. I have a nice clean view here at the front. I'm going to try to make the best start possible, and let's see what happens. And no matter what, anyway, we're very happy with the outcome. I'll see you soon. Enjoy the show.
I thought maybe he was going to have a few words in Portuguese as well for the fans. He's got his kids here, his family and friends all around him, and every single man, woman and child in the audience, no doubt, will be supporting him. Our DHL pole sitter for the final race here in Portugal. The final race in Europe this season will be Attila Tashi from Thiago Monteiro. Jan Erlechet and Ivar Muller will start on row 2, ahead of Rob Huff and Jean-Carl Vernet. Row 4 of the grid will be Nicky Katzberg and Mikel Ashkanar, our race 2 winner. On row 5, Esteban Guerrieri and Marcin Kwa, also on the podium in race 2. Behind them, Nestor Girolami and Kevin Chacon will start on row 6, Fredrik Vervish and Johan Kristoffersson on row 7. On row 8 of the grid, Ted Björk and Norbert Mikulis, 3rd and 2nd in the championship respectively. Gabriele Tarquini, the outgoing champion, that seems certain, will start 17th with Andy Prio, a 3-time world champion, alongside him in 18th. On row 10 of the grid is Aurelian Panis. Augusto Farfus's car is in the pit lane. If it starts at all, that is where he will take the start from. Gordon Shedd and Benny Loister on row 11 of the grid. On the penultimate row, Mehdi Banani and Tom Coronel. And the final row of the grid, Daniel Hegloff and Nils Langeveld, 2 of our 9 rookies on this track. Well, they start on the final row. Another rookie starts on the very front row, Attila Tashi, and he will be our DHL pole sitter for race 3 here in Villarreal. Well, not everybody's eyes are straining on the main event at the moment. And in the warm afternoon sunshine here on this beautiful Sunday, I'm not entirely sure I can blame the kids for taking a few moments away from the races. 10th on the grid, our race 2 pole sitter Marcin Kwa. And he's not had a bad qualifying run. 10th place was the choice here. And he qualified in 5th place in the first race, dropped way back to 15th or 16th on lap 1 with a slipping clutch, but ended up in 2nd place in race 2 from the pole position. T-shirt signed by all the drivers being handed to the mayor of Villarreal, and the 50th anniversary logo there. So that will go into the collection of memorabilia at the Club Automobile Villarreal, the organisers here, who for 50 years have organised street races here since 1931. I know that's not 50 years since 1931. There have been interventions due to various hostilities and other safety concerns actually as well on the track more recently, but we are now here for the 6th time on the streets of Villarreal. Esteban Guerrieri, our points leader now, extending his advantage again and anything he can gain here will be definitely well received by him and by the team. 22nd in race 1, all sorts of issues on Saturday, bounced back. Started on the front row, got 3rd position for race 2, and now we'll start in the top 10 with his closest championship rival in 15th, or his closest championship rivals in 15th and 16th. And Thiago Monteiro, final words of encouragement from the mayor. He knows what it's like to finish on the podium here, and I wonder whether his teammate Attila Tashi will. Well, Tashi, the youngest driver in the field. Mikel Ascona, like Tashi, celebrating his birthday this month, and he will turn 25. Again, he sort of looks more like Tashi's age of 19. Tashi looks, Matt Neal, more like he's 14 or 15, doesn't he? They are very young-looking drivers.
Yeah, Tashi does look like he's got a turn up for school in the morning.
Yeah,
hope he's got his homework done. But I suppose that's a sign you're getting a little bit older, isn't it, Martin, I'm afraid?
Yeah. What about your homework? It's not the dog ate it. I left it in the race transporter back in Portugal.
That guy's still going to be full of beans.
Oh.
He's just want to
Do you know what? They won't have wiped the smile
get
off
the race over and done with it. He can go and celebrate.
They won't have wiped the smile off his face by the time they get to Ningbo, will they? That's going to last a long, long time in his memory.
Well, I was going to say, you know, the circuit's going forward because he's been doing the European Championship. He won't know any of them, but
They didn't know any of them. No, of course they didn't. The only one I think he'd raced on before was possibly Zandvoort. He certainly hadn't been to Marrakesh, didn't stop him on being on the podium there. Got a podium in Zandvoort as well. Now he's had his first win. 7th on the grid, Nicky Katzberg, the only Hyundai really that's performed well today. After Mikulits and Farfus were strong yesterday, Nicky was there in the top 10 as well. 2 5th places already. Nicky Katzberg, 2 5th places in the races. And he has been doing his level best for his teammate, Norbert Mikulits. He and Augusto Farfus both drove very tactically in race 1 to try and create margins to help Norby. Tried to do the same as well in race 2, holding off Esteban Guerrieri as long as he could. In the end, I think the team left it too long for him to do the Joker lap, and Guerrieri slipped by pretty easily.
He's certainly got his work cut out, you know, from starting in 7th place to try and move Norby and Gabrielli forward from 16th and 17th places. There's a lot of heavy hitters in between them.
Yeah, no kidding. Jean-Carl Vernet, you saw the Portuguese flag on the rear end plates of the wing of the WRT Audi. That's not because he's Portuguese, he is French, and sort of slightly part Japanese as well after years racing there, and a great affinity for the country shared with a number of racing drivers, including alone him and Tom Coronel. But the team put the national flag of the country they're racing in every weekend on the end plates of the cars. So next time you see him, he will have the Chinese flag on the end plates, because that'll be in Ningbo in August. So now, after several races in fairly swift succession through Europe, the flyaways begin, and we will have significantly longer gaps between our races. 5-minute board being shown at the front of the grid. Safety car rolls off. Bruno Carrera with our safety car, just to make sure the marshals and all the other officials are fully aware that the race is within a few minutes of getting underway. And Rob Huff on the grid in 5th position. And he's been sort of firmly in the middle of the top 10, exactly as you said, Matt, in terms of the pace of the car, pace of qualifying, and the race results as well.
You'd actually say Rob's probably been the most consistent. He hasn't had the podiums, but he's been the most consistent of any driver all this weekend. But it's just
a bit less of a yo-yo, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the sort of the leading guy for the VW squads. But it's whether, I mean, they hope for so much coming here, as we mentioned earlier, but it just hasn't. But Rob's just been ripping every last little bit of performance he can out of that car. It's just not there, to take it to the final level. Well,
row 2 of the grid is all blue. Tough weekend.
It's all Team Muller.
Well, it's all the Muller family, very much so. I mean, Ivan's sister Kathy Muller, herself a racer and team owner, team manager. She is the father, of course, of Jan Eller. She's not the father, she's the mother of Jan Eller.
Yeah, depending on what happens on this first couple of laps, there could be Christmas presents at stake here.
Yeah, well, you know, Ivan takes no prisoners. Honestly, you know, he's a racing driver.
Yeah,
he's there
but
to race.
a woman scorned if he upsets his sister.
Yeah, that's
Jan's mother.
At least he's not going to upset the mother of his youngest. So he'll make sure that Justine is happy as much as he can. But it is a real family affair, and you know that's very much the feeling in the paddock. Lots of families come along. It is a very open and welcoming place to be a competitor, to be a team personnel, and for us as
Martin, we jest about the family, but there's no young driver more deserving to be on that grid than Jan Lachey.
Yeah.
He is a shining light of young drivers coming through, and he's, he is one of the future of World Touring Cars and international racing. I mean, he's a great guy. He's just everything about him. He's fast, he's fair. He's on the money.
Absolutely.
Everything about him.
Absolutely. And he drives anything, anywhere. He's almost sort of born 40 years too late. He will drive anything, anywhere. He races these cars, he races LMP prototypes, he races GTs, he does ice racing in Trophy Andros in the winter. Have car, have helmet, I'm there. Just, give him a ring. Whatever, wild idea you've got. And probably with Lachey, the wilder, the better. Front row of the grid then for the KCMG Hondas. The local hero, Thiago Monteiro, after suffering a huge testing accident 2 summers ago, came back so emotionally at the end of last year and then hit the ground running with a full season campaign with KCMG and these Hondas this year. And there's no question that if there's one race he would love to win, it is this. If there's one man that the fans would love to win here, he is that man. The question is, can he get away quickly enough and cleanly enough to take the lead from the pole sitter? Well, there's the trophy they're all playing for at the end of the year. And here's the man that Thiago has to beat. 19 years old, youngest man in the championship. The TCR International Series runner-up in 2017 behind Jean-Carl Vernet. And this is his first career pole at the world level. So, 19th in race 1, 11th in race 2, fastest in qualifying and fastest in the top 5 shootout. Attila Tashi, 19 years old. Can he be another first-time winner this weekend? The answer is yes, he can. Will he? We will find out in 13 or possibly more laps. So Tashi, we hear from the grid, has brand new tyres. How they've managed to keep those, I don't know, but they're giving him every shot.
Yeah, that can work both ways, Martin. That can be a real ace card up his sleeve, or it can. It'll be a bit of a hindrance getting him in and then them going away. He could have mega speed for about 3 or 4 laps and then they could drop like a stone, so having not been heat cycled beforehand.
Engines are running and the field is waved away for the final time here in Villarreal. The final green flag lap on the streets of Villarreal. Race 3 is moments away. No formation lap for Augusto Farfus. He'll start from the pit lane. Looks like the car is ready though, Matt.
Yeah, that's pretty risky. That trophy is about 5 foot tall, a good 1.5 meters tall. Yep. So putting it centrally there with that lot going past it.
Well, you got to hope that they
It's not something you're going to sneak in your hand luggage, put it like that.
Attila Tashi, Thiago Monteiro, row 1. Jan Lachey, Ivan Muller, row 2. Rob Huff, Jean-Carl Vernet, row 3. Ahead of Nicky Katzberg and race 2 winner Mikel Ashkanar. Esteban Guerrieri, our points leader, on row 5 with Marcin Kwa ahead of Nestor Girolami and Kevin Chekon. On row 7, Fredrik Vervish and Johan Kristoffersen. Ted Björk third in points, Norbert Mikulits, second in points on row 8. On row 9, Gabriele Tarquini and Andy Preel. On row 10 on his own, Billy No Mates is Aurelian Panis. Gordon Shedden, Benny Leuchter on row 11, ahead of Mehdi Banani and Tom Coronel on row 12. Daniel Hegloff and Nils Langeveld bring up the final row of the grid. Starting from the pit lane will be Augusto Farfus. His car was not fixed in time to leave the pits and make it to the grid, so he leaves a gap where he should be in 20th spot on our third and final race grid. And our DHL pole sitter, Attila Tashi. Matt, can you even remember what you felt the first time you were leading a field round in pole position? Were you excited or nervous? Please don't let me mess this up.
I think you're so focused on what to do and the processes you've got to go through to warm the tyres, warm the clutch, warm the brakes. You don't want to get them too hot. You want to get them, you know, in their operating area. So, and then you're focused on the first few corners. You're just thinking it through, thinking the lap through, just trying to make sure the diff's working properly. You'll be talking with the team, what's happening, and so it's just a lot of things to go through just to keep your mind busy.
DHL pole sitter Attila Tashi and teammate Thiago Monteiro lead the field to the grid here for the third and final time in Villarreal. Orlinkel Motorsport still firmly in command of the team's championship, 80 points ahead of their closest rival. Best Link & Co team 92 behind. Fourth place team, that's the Look Oil Hyundais, 162 points behind, with 4 race meetings after this. This is the 6th race weekend of the 2019 FIA WTCR Touring Car Cup by Oscaro, the final European race. Before we get underway, just want to say thanks to all of the TV crew for the European campaign. It's the last time we will see each other until next year. What a great job they have done with the production before we head to our flyaway races. Race 3 in Villarreal, 25 cars will come to the grid. 1 is waiting to join in from the pit lane, that's Augusto Farfus. On the DHL pole, 19-year-old Attila Tashi, his very first pole start in WTCR. Teammate Thiago Monteiro alongside, the red lights are on. Who's going to make the best start? Away we go, good start from the front row men. Jan Alaché gets away well, not quite so well. Ivan Muller, he'll tuck in behind his nephew. They're going to be 2 or 3 wide behind. It's Tashi from Monteiro, Alaché on the inside. Muller will not tuck in behind, there's no room yet. Jean-Carl Vernet is right behind him. Vernet again jumps Huff away from the line. Huff down from 5th to 6th position. Katzberg around the outside and dangerously there on the loose.
Katzberg's
whoa, trying to go around the outside of Ashkenar, but underneath him is Guerrieri in contact with the championship leader, and Guerrieri looks to be out on the spot. Or was that Girolami? No, it's Girolami. Girolami goes by, it was Guerrieri. And that was Nicky Katzberg going the long way round on all the oil and the quick dry and just running out of room at the end. And Guerrieri is trying to find a way by, but I'm not sure he's got much car with which to do it. Katzberg has stopped. Now, is that going to mean a safety car? Attila Tashi leads from Thiago Monteiro, and Alaché and Muller 3rd and 4th. Is exactly the only thing I can think of saying. Oh, look at that! How wide there was Muller ahead of Vernet. He's hanging on. Oh, that's Muller's gone. Elaché's backing him up. Muller's only 2 points ahead of Alaché. Safety car is out.
So where did Muller get past Alaché?
I don't know where Muller got past Alaché. But safety car is out. Let's hear from Nicky Katzberg.
Okay, I guess no, I cannot make it back, guys. I cannot make it back.
You can see there the car rolling backwards into a gap for precisely that purpose. Now watch Katzberg on the right there. That's the end of the incident. Guerrieri is being squeezed on one side by Ma, and Katzberg's coming along his left-hand side.
If you're a skeptic, you'd have to be pretty suspicious about that. But where you go, if you're on Katzberg's side, you go, where would he go? But
there's Katzberg around the outside. Unfortunately, he was committed to that. Guerrieri's got no room because Ma was on his right. We need to see that from further back. The previous run down the straight, Katzberg popped out to the driver's left, shot down the outside, but that's where the oil and the quick dry are. That's not where the grip is. Well, Guerrieri, race 1 was a nightmare for him yesterday. Race 2, recovery mode. Race 3, it looks as though there will be no points for the Argentine.
Race 3 was always going to be a lottery with that grid position, wasn't it? But you didn't expect that for him.
9th on the grid. Well, if it was ever going to go wrong, it was always going to go wrong on the first lap, wasn't it?
Well, what's that done, Martin? It's catapulted Michelitz up into the top 12.
Yeah, Norby's 12th, Ted Björk 11th, because we've lost Guerrieri and Katzberg. And Farfus, of course, didn't start on the grid, so that gave them, well, it didn't give them an automatic spot, but...
they could change it, but it's pointless in a sprint race.
Yeah. Well, he's going to end on the back of the safety car queue, but will the red lights be on a pit out? And there's damage on the front as well. And that assumes that nothing has been bent. Safety cars coming in, it's all for nothing. This is really not going to work. You don't get anything for a fastest lap even, so it's a 0-point day race for Guerrieri. Come around the Mateos house.
Here we go then. Katzberg, I mean, it's a great move all the way down the outside.
But he puts himself in the real danger zone. He's out wide, has to cut back in to avoid the barriers. And as he comes back in, there's contact with Guerrieri.
Wow.
And Esteban will say, you know...
It's deliberate.
He won't necessarily say that Nicky hit him deliberately to take him out of the race, and I wouldn't even dream of suggesting that of Katzberg. He's not that kind of a racer, but Guerrieri will say, I was in the middle of the road, he was trying to come back in and didn't give me enough room.
It's a hard one, Martin.
Yeah, it is a hard one. And, you know, there is no room for error. If that was on a normal circuit, Katzberg could have run wide, 2 wheels on the grass, lost a bit of ground, found somewhere to come in. But it's not a normal circuit.
I'm not saying Nicky would have done it deliberately, but I'm thinking he'd have put his car in a position where it would... Esteban's got to give way.
Green flag again. We go back to racing. Race distance goes out from 12 to 13 laps. And Attila Tashi leads from Thiago Monteiro. Yvonne Muller got ahead of Jan Erlaché. We still haven't seen how, when or why that happened. He's up to 3rd, and Erlaché had immediately dropped back. Now, whether the plan was always to back up whoever was 2nd, to back up the rest of the group, that's what Erlaché did for Muller in race 2 rather, the first one today. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening again, holding up Ferney and Huff and Ashkenar and Ma and everybody else to allow Ivan to escape and give him room to do a joker lap at the end of this lap. Do safety cars count as laps for the joker lap? I'm assuming they do. So at the end of the 3rd racing lap, lap 3, Ivan won't be far enough ahead, but Erlaché is making the gap for Ivan to drop into. So Ivan now is right with Thiago, and Thiago is backing up immediately there. Look, starting to allow Tashi to pull away.
You reckon?
Yes. Let's hear from Ted Björk, who's in 11th.
Okay, Ted, push as hard as you can, okay, joker this lap.
Okay. Well, Björk, joker this lap, get it done early and then see where we go.
I don't think Thiago's backing up at all.
No, he wasn't. He was just losing ground a little bit to Tashi there on acceleration. Ivan Muller may come out of this with the fastest race lap.
Montero's going
Montero
for it.
down the inside of Attila Tashi to try and take the lead, and this is going to leave the door open for Muller. Muller can smell blood in the water. He's going the long way round. He's got the inside line. Through he goes. Tashi goes from first to third. Montero pulling no punches there. Now, what does this do? He was being held up, he clearly felt, by Tashi. Maybe not at the original start, but definitely at the restart.
And Tashi struggled for pace in race, the first race, didn't he, this morning? So
we've had a few joker laps. Vervish has done his. Coronel and Farfus have, Benani and Coronel have done theirs. But Ted Björk did not do a joker lap that time round.
yeah, the new tyres on Tashi's car really, he's going ever so defensive there for LSA.
Now, is he, now that he's behind, going to back up the field to allow Thiago to duck in now and come back out? Whoa, Daniel Hegeloff there ahead of Augusto Farfus. And LSA and Verne battling for position. This is for fourth. Oh, LSA with a very wide car. Stewards will look at the incident between Nicky Katzberg and Esteban Guerrieri. They're both out of the race. Katzberg might pick up a grid penalty for the next round. Oh, and LSA. That car is wild as you like over the chicane there, isn't it?
Yeah, LSA should have a little bit of legs on Jean-Kel Venet behind him, so he's going to want to try and get some air in between him now. He's going to really sort of pin his ears back, see if he can get some distance for his own joker lap.
So what's happening now is LSA is trying to hold the field up so Ivan can do the joker early.
No, Ivan's and Thiago's clear, mate. LSA is trying to make his own space now.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? But he can't get away from Verne. Tashi needs to do his joker lap now.
I think Yvonne needs to do his...
Well, who's going to bring? Who's going to blink
needs to do
first?
his joker lap first.
Wait, hang on a minute. LSA's ahead of Tashi. LSA's up to third. Tashi's gone down the order. Muller goes now. LSA's holding everybody up. He's got by Tashi. LSA doesn't do the joker lap now. Comes out right behind Ivan. Now, LSA's only 2 points behind Ivan in the championship. They're both a long way back. Over 100 points away.
He's still going to do his joker, Martin, but he's got to get away. Oh, his hockey got past Tashi as well.
Yes, Tashi has vanished.
He's back in 11th.
Yeah, down to 11th. Something has happened to our DHL pole sitter. That's a real shame for the young Hungarian. That would have been a fairy tale story. There he is, mired in the midfield. Checon's gone by. Vervish is lining up to have a go. Johansson.
He's got to have some sort of problem.
Yeah, no question at all.
Just look at that.
Yeah, he's getting properly worked over, isn't he? Because the car is not fast enough. And Attila Tashi is down and in the teens almost.
I wonder whether it's some sort of engine problem like Guerrieri had in race one yesterday.
Yeah, Guerrieri's car blew a spark plug. Shedden in the pits as well and out of the race, by the way. Katzberg retired, Guerrieri retired. Targia Montero leading the race.
We have 3 seconds with Muller. If we are very fast, we can stay in front. We can stay in front if we're very fast now. I'm pushing.
And it is who is quicker on this lap. Muller's undercut. Is it going to work? It is going to be super tight. Thiago, purple, sector 2. Ivan goes quicker. LSA's going quicker as well. Tashi's being swamped by the field.
Yeah, Montero's got to do it now because Muller and LSA have got their tails up. They're coming at him fast.
And they're coming together as one car, Muller and LSA, and that will make them quicker on the fast bits of the circuit than Thiago is on his own. If he doesn't go now, it's all over for Montero. He takes the joker lap. It's got to be clean. He can't afford to give it away. Muller on the left of your screen. Thiago cheered on by the crowd. He's going to come back in front by inches. Now... Okay, now it is
LSA coming out.
Yeah, it is Mano Armano. LSA's done his joker lap. Mikel Ashkanar up to third now.
Ashkanar got past LSA.
Yeah, but Ashkanar's got to do his joker lap as well. Don't forget, he put in lap record pace laps in race 2 to earn the win ahead of Marcin Kwa. But this is now two old friends and rivals battling for supremacy. It will be Montero or Muller or a big crash. New lap record, not quite for Ashkanar, but no, he's 2/10 away from the lap record he set, but he has got the fastest race lap. Ashkanar smells another podium. Well, there is Tashi's car, it's in.
Yeah, bonnets up, looking at the engine.
Joe, your guess is as good as any, Matt, and they're going straight in on the top of the engine. That sounds like it's done a spark plug as well. Maybe there's a slightly iffy batch.
This only needs one mistake off Tiago.
This is tough for both families, they're all here.
Okay, Norby, now Ma and Bjork in front of you has to joke, has to do the joker lap. So you have to close the gap, push, push, push.
Yeah, Norby's done his, Girolami's done his, but the two cars ahead of them, Björk and Ma, have yet to do jokers. Norby is 2 seconds behind Björk. That's not enough for Ted to come back in front.
Well, also importantly, Michelitz is in the top 10 now, so he's already eating into Guerrieri's championship lead.
Yep. Guerrieri and Björk, Michelitz and Björk both in the top 10.
You need to joke at this time, okay? You need to do it while you've still got a gap to Girolami, okay? Can't afford to let it go.
Well, there he goes, good as gold. Ted relies on Phil Barker to come up with the answers. I think that was Nestor Girolami going through. It was. Girolami's absolutely on a rip. 2-minute 2.7 lap from him, and that gave him the undercut over Ted Björk. I hate that phrase, but that's what everybody understands, and Farfus is off. And that is at the roundabout. And he's at the tail of the field. The leaders aren't going to be that far away. Look at Vernet and Huff. That is for 5th.
Huff's definitely got Vernet in his crosshairs.
And that might be where Ashkanar comes out. Farfus goes off. That's where Tarquini understeered off. Remember, in race 1, Tarquini with Tiago on the outside.
Accident.
Maybe they just clipped the inside of the roundabout.
That's not a bad call, Martin.
Ashkanar in 3rd is the fly in the ointment here. El Aché in 4th is 1.3 ahead of Vernet and Huff. But Ashkanar, can he do a joker lap and stay in front? No, he can't.
Yeah, and just to confirm, Ascona in front still has the joker, so stay with him, he still has the joker.
Montero is leaving Muller, but Ashkanar in 3rd in the grey and orange Cupra is not far enough ahead of El Aché. But Matt, there are 7 more laps to go after this. He could do it on the final lap. If he can put in those record laps and pull away.
El Aché's got to stay with him because Escanar's fast at the moment.
Both Lukoil Hyundais out of this race. Katzberg pulls off on the side of the track. So too does Farfus. Yeah, El Aché has to push all the way.
Lincoln Co want to play the team game, and Muller's not going to catch Montero. You'd want Muller to drop back, hold Ascanar up, so El Aché can't get the gap to El Aché.
Prio's been holding on late for his joker lap. He's in 14th, but he's got a puncture, and so he'll be heading into the pits, we gather. Joker lap there for Marcin Kwa, drops him down to 9th place behind Ted Björk. There he is. Chicon in 12th, so both Alphas in the points. And Ashkanar's done here, so has he? No. Now he's right up. Has El Aché gone by him, or is he right up behind Muller? He's right up behind Muller.
Yeah, another fastest lap of the race.
You know what's happening now, don't you? Muller has accepted he can't pass Tiago. He's now backing Ashkanar up so that when the Spaniard takes his joker lap, there's 2 Cyan Racing cars on the podium.
No, I think that's pure pace in the Cupra, Martin.
Yeah, but he's now stuck behind Muller. He can't get further away from El Aché.
Yeah, that's the speed that Ascanar's carrying rather than Muller backing him up.
Yeah, well, 2:02.423, that is not quite another new lap record. There's Prio with a puncture. Left rear, it seems.
And Muller's going to want to keep the pressure on Tiago just in case he makes a mistake.
Well, Muller, last lap, 2:03.0. Last lap for Tiago, 2:02.9. Muller is definitely, well, whether by design or accident, he is helping Air
This is a godsend for Air Lachey, otherwise Askenar will be up the road.
Yeah, this is really tough for Askenar. He's the quickest car on track. And he's setting new fastest lap after new fastest lap. The frustration must be really palpable on the radio. He's either saying everything in Spanish or nothing at all.
Sure he'll be focused with a bit of a steely stare at the minute.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Thiago keeping it nice and tight.
To add to Volkswagen's woes, by the way,
oh, here we go.
Oh, Askenar goes in. Stewards are going to look at the start of Benny Leuster. Leuster's already down in 18, so not that it matters much. Askenar versus Vernay. Oh, our newest winner versus the man who he succeeded as the top TCR champion in TCR Europe 2018. He holds on ahead of Vernay.
A run on Vernay.
Yes, maybe so. And Askenar will leave these two. I think he's going to drop them pretty quick.
There's just barely a place to pass around here. It's too fast, too tight.
You've got to bide your time and make the guy make a mistake, but making Vernay forced errors, that's not easy. Looking back from Mikel Askenar, our newest first-time race winner, our 10th winner this season. And this is race 18, don't forget, so multiple winners are few and far between. Thiago Monteiro looking to become our 11th different race winner.
Do you think we can fight with Thiago?
No way.
Okay, copy.
Give me 100% power and yes.
Was that leave me alone, I know what I'm doing?
Or was that move out the way for Air Lachey? Or no way?
No. No, you know.
If Monteiro wins this will... Oh!
Benny Leuster gets a little nudge under braking from Tom Coronel.
It'll be the first sprint race Monteiro's won since his accident.
It'll be the first race he's won since his accident.
He won Nürburgring 24 hour.
Oh, yeah, yes, very good. No, first WTCR. First WTCR win for Thiago. Yes, he did. He won the 24 hours in the TCR class. It won't even be the first TCR win for him, will it?
Right, okay, used to know it all.
Well, no, you nudged me in that direction. I've got to pick it up and run with it, haven't I? Our other 24-hour winner, Frederick Vervisch, outright winner with Audi Sports Team Phoenix. Look how close they are to the roundabout barriers there. You do that on the road, and your wife has every right to pull you up short.
Just about the whole grid's made their joker laps now, so it's a straight.
Yeah, only those who have retired haven't jokered. Niels Langeveld, the last man to do the joker lap, drops him out of the points, I'm afraid, at least temporarily. Oh, big lock up there from
Vervisch.
that was Girolami ahead of Ted Björk. This is for 7th. Now for Girolami, he wants the points for 7th to try and close on Björk, but also Esteban's going, no, please don't let Björk get by you. There's Norbert Mikelic, he's in the points in 10th. But with Vervisch behind, black and white for car 33 driving standards.
Benny Leuster.
What, for reversing into Tom Coronel?
Well,
maybe something we didn't see that the stewards did. Norby in 10th. Frederick Vervisch looking to try and take that off him. This is lap 10 of 14. 4 to go after this, if my maths is correct, which it seldom is. Girolami, 7th, Björk, 8th. Well, for both Ted and for Norby, who are really on the back foot this morning, they've certainly made the most in this race of what they've been handed, haven't they? Oh, Nestor, mind those tyres.
the cars do get some... The curbs in those chicanes are absolutely ferocious. I mean, the cars get such punishment going through them.
Every time you cut back to it, it looks like they're having a crash, doesn't it? Really does. It scares me every time for them. Muller and Air Lachey, 2nd and 3rd. What's going on?
Can you go quicker? of saying, just in case you have any car problems, make sure you keep a safe gap to Ivan.
Can Ivan go quicker?
No, he can't push. He cannot go quicker for Montero at the moment.
Well, we know what the undercurrent of that message was, don't we?
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yeah. I'm afraid I don't see Ronnie Hartfelt doing that. If Jan had a big advantage, or if Ivan had a big advantage, fine. Coming in here, they're 2 points apart. You're not going to say move over for Jan unless Ivan suddenly has a major problem.
Jan was saying in a fairly polite, assertive way.
Would you mind asking my uncle if he'd contemplate driving a little bit quicker, please? Are we nearly there?
I'd more likely to hear the comms the other way, going from asking Ivan if he can go any faster.
Well, we did, didn't we? Can you catch Thiago? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to, that was polite. Would you like to let Jan through? That'll be less polite. And probably fewer words than no way.
Direct.
There'll be fewer words than no way. It'll just be no. And, for Lincoln Co, 2-3, that's a great result. For Ivan and Jan, it's valuable points. They're going to outscore Björk and Mikulits. They're going to outscore Guerrieri. They are going to outscore Ascana. So they're going to outscore almost all the guys that are ahead of them in the championship. And that's really, really important.
That's going to close it all up again, isn't it?
Yep. And Ascana, 4th place, only just off the podium. Thiago is kind of like a wild card here because he's had such a slow point-scoring start to the season. It's really, the points are about these guys, Muller, Erlache and Ashkanar, and then a little further back, Girolami, Björk and Mikulich. In fact, even Jean-Carl in 5th position and Rob Huff in 6th. Huffy's out of the top 10 in points, I think. It
does look as though Muller is struggling. Askanar's come back up, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Ashkanar no longer at lap record pace, but he's the only man in the 2-minute 2s, and he's in the 2-minute 2s every lap. His last lap, 2-minute 2.6. Ivan's 2-minute 3.4. That's 8 tenths on 1 lap.
Yeah, it's the one who's going to be getting twitchy is Erlache, because he's the one who's going to be watching himself.
Well, he can see him coming, can't he? He's already got twitchy, never mind getting. Do you see Vervish has come up with a new plan? Just drop bits off the Audi to make it lighter.
Just disintegrating slowly as he goes along.
Yeah. Oh, Jan Erlache! Very wide, under braking. What happened with Ashkanar? How did he not take advantage of that?
Jan is under pressure,
I am front.
Now he's got to watch his tyres aren't dirty into the next heavy braking zone.
But what happened? How did Ashkanar not get by? He did the same almost.
Well, the argument with Wee is he went the long way around.
Yeah. He
rather than shortcut.
He used the chicane and didn't cut it.
Yeah.
Now then, this is a little bit of pressure for Norby because he's been holding off Fredrik Vervish for 10th place, but now they're closing on Marcin Kua in the Alpha. And in fact, they're really closing on Mar, and Norby's got previous ramming Alphas there in the last race with Kevin Chekon, not deliberately but by accident. So he's got to be doubly cautious there under braking that the Alpha doesn't have an issue. Except you can't be doubly cautious, you've just got to be going hell for leather.
Well, they've caught back up with Muller again.
Yeah.
It's been the start of the last lap.
I tell you what, Erlache was lucky there was runoff area there.
Yeah, very lucky.
Really lucky. He was able to straight line the chicane, or go the long way round the chicane, but actually
two laps to go, sorry, 2 laps to go, not 1 lap.
2 to go. Whoa, right behind Norby at one of the slowest parts of the circuit with Fredrik Vervish.
Norby soaking up the pressure. Needs those valuable points, though.
Every single one here is going to count. Every single one. As of now, Norby will be exactly 1 race win behind, 25 points. And that doesn't allow for points in qualifying or what have you next time out in Ningbo. And that is a more manageable gap than 31. Thiago Monteiro, about a lap and 2/3 from the checkered flag.
There's a little bit of breathing space back to Askenar, but it's a hair's breadth, isn't it?
Not much breathing going on. Askenar for the first time in the 2-minute threes, his pace now being dictated by the Lynk & Co cars in front.
Yeah, this is where it's happening.
Yeah, you sort of
being very polite through the curbs there.
Not sure that, see, he wants to finish. Both the Alfa drivers want to finish this race. They've had enough damage, haven't they? He doesn't want to smash a rim on those curbs, and that's easily done. Or snap a drive shaft, or pull the suspension off.
Thiago looks pretty under control. This is...
Well, Thiago now will be nursing his tyres and his brakes. What's Askenar got to say?
Vale, estamos perfectos ahí, Miquel, P4, no tomamos riesgos, sin riesgos, frenamos antes, levantamos y tranquilos.
Vervish pulls over, something's broken, looked like the right front was down. Has he smashed the suspension? Final lap for our race leader.
He's been locking up a lot into some of those heavy braking zones, so...
Well, that's blessed relief for Norbert Michelisz. Even if he doesn't get by Ma, at least he knows that Vervish isn't going to get by him. What happens? Bang!
Broken suspension.
Yep.
Victim of the curbs. No fault of Fred's.
No. You've got to hit him, but they always hit back, and that's it. Right front collapses, and he's out. And he knows exactly what's going on, steers his way away. Look, they're giving a round of applause already to Thiago Monteiro, his valedictory lap. Sparks or flame or something under the right front wheel well, it looked like, of Jan Erlache's car. Now, is he going to run out of brakes? Askenar has really got to pile on the pressure. Vervish reports a broken drive shaft. That's the other issue with curb strikes. Monteiro leading up to the Mateus house. Very careful with the curbs. So is Muller, so is Erlache.
That could have been the reason for Erlache overshooting earlier, a bit of a brake problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Askenar piles on the pressure, I mean, Thiago's had clear air. Erlache behind Muller's been in hot air all the way round, and that hot air doesn't help cool the brakes as much. The crowd are loving this. And Thiago, that is just, I'm not going to say it, just about the final hurdle.
Yeah, let's not jinx it.
No, because we've seen races go wrong further around. Down here, we've seen brakes fail. Thinking of Sebastian Loeb, further down the hill, we've seen brakes fail and cars being pitched out of races. Into the roundabout for the final time, under control, out he comes, the checkered flag waits. For the first time since Hungary 2017, Thiago Monteiro wins. Second for Ivan Muller, third for Jan Erlache ahead of Mikael Askenar. It's a real sort out on the final lap. Looks like Johan Kristoffersen gets past Kevin Chacon, so does Aurelian Panis. Chacon had a lunge at Kristoffersen, didn't work. Kristoffersen came back and Chacon lost the place to Panis. Ma just ahead of Michelisz, their 9th and 10th. And there behind is Niels Langeveld, 16th, just behind Gabriele Tarquini. Doesn't get a point for all his efforts this weekend, Langeveld. But Thiago Monteiro, not since Hungary 2017. So more than 2 years, he wins again.
Yes! Yes! Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hard to believe, hard to imagine. Thank you. It was so hard. So hard to be here, to be back. 2 years. We struggled, but we're here. We're back. Thank you so much. Woo! I love you. I just can't believe it. Can't believe it! Ah! We made it! Yes, yes, yes. so many months of work. Thank you, KCMG. Thank you, Honda. Thank you for believing in me all the time. Thank you to my family.
There's a bit of emotion going on inside there, isn't there?
A lot of emotion. Listen, any win anywhere as his first after an accident where they thought maybe he's not going to walk properly again, maybe he's not going to see properly again, maybe he'll never drive again. Any race anywhere would have been enough, but to do it in Portugal. Well, you heard the emotion in the voice of Thiago Monteiro. So his young son there hanging over the barriers, friends, family, the doctors, the physios, Honda who believed in him and supported his recovery so strongly, the whole of the paddock who welcomed him back with open arms. It was such an emotional day when he drove down a pit lane again and out onto the track for the first time after his accident. But that emotion is as nothing compared to how he must be feeling now. You can only begin to start to imagine.
That's right, Martin. There's plenty of people who wrote him off.
Yep.
And said he wouldn't make it back.
Jan Ellershey, most valuable driver of the weekend. 50 points scored by him. First win for Michael Ashkenar and a new lap record. Several new lap records, in fact. New qualifying record for Attila Tashi, the young kids. First time, both of them on this track. Boy, they produced in spades. And Ellershey, well, he knows the track, he knows the car, and he produces the goods, doesn't he? Ellershey taking third in the final race. Ivan Muller in second position. And Thiago Monteiro, what a hugely emotional win for him. Massive emotion for Monteiro, for his family and friends, for KCMG and Honda. Massive emotions too, I'm sure, for everyone in Lincoln Co. after their very sad news last night, and I'm absolutely certain that Ivan Muller and Jan Ellershey will be dedicating their podium finishes here to their young teammate who so sadly passed away yesterday evening here. What a day of emotion in Villarreal. Waiting for Dad. What a day for Thiago Monteiro. I'm not sure what else has happened in the world of football and tennis, what else has happened on the Tour de France and in MotoGP and everywhere else, but I can pretty much guarantee that the Portuguese newspapers will be full of this tomorrow morning. Well, if there's been a more emotional win in 50 street racing festivals in Villarreal, I'd like to know who, what, when and where. Thiago Monteiro, the local hero with such a story over the last 2 years. Winning here would have been fine enough anyway. Winning here after what he's been through in the last 24 months must feel like nothing else he's experienced. And for the team, for KCMG and Yasport, Matt Neal as well, vindication of all the hard work, and finally, when it clicks, oh boy, does it click.
Well, as you say, it's the first win for KCMG this year, and 11th winner, different driver winner this year.
And look at the tears in the eyes of Attila Tashi there, not for his disappointment, but of joy for Thiago.
Well, and he's achieved a lot. I mean, his pole lap was sensational.
Yep.
You know, has it just clicked with them? Could they be on it going forward for the, for race wins now?
Well, couldn't hurt, could it? Couldn't hurt, and it couldn't hurt their Honda teammates either. Having 4 Honda drivers who are inputting good data.
You know, he was having a problem. He had no problem. He rolled over straight for Thiago, let them win. Team got the win. Team player. I don't think Attila's done himself any harm at all in the greater scheme of things.
No. He's proved that on one of the toughest tracks you can race anywhere on the planet, he can set a new qualifying lap record against multiple world champions and champions from all sorts of different disciplines. And he's not even 20 until next Sunday. A win would have been a fabulous present for him, but a win for Thiago is an entirely different calibre. And for Link & Co as well, particularly for Jan and Ivan. Really, really an emotional day, an emotional weekend that team won't forget in a hurry.
Thiago live on.
Old friends, old sparring partners. Don't forget that they were teammates back in the Seat days, in the 5-car Seat diesel.
Would they have
train,
raced F3000 against each other back in the day?
No, Ivan was a decade and a generation earlier on it. Yeah. Pretty much. But, yeah, they were teammates together, and you know, there are lots of long friendships, as well as long rivalries, but long friendships in this paddock. And the longer you spend racing, the more days like this. There's Dario Disposito. Listen, everybody's going to get...
I understood a bit of that from the Italian that I've been taught over the years.
Yeah. Well, Thiago speaks fluent Portuguese clearly, English, French, Italian, and who knows how many others. There's his dad. Boy, what a roller coaster that man has been through in the last 2 years. You know, tough enough for Thiago, it was him, harder still for his father.
Our 11th different winner, and he does it around the streets of Villarreal. Thiago Monteiro, truly, nobody deserves this more than you.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, I mean, God knows how much we work for that, you know. In the background, of course, the accident, 2 years of no idea how much we worked, and we struggled to come back. We made it the comeback. Then it was such a tough season until now. We need to make everything possible in order to make it work, you know. Of course, I always dreamt of making a huge comeback here, but I mean, come on, you have 26 amazing guys. It's a proper world championship, and to have done this, of course. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm so sad for Attila. Of course, he could have had his first win. I would have been happy with a second or a third, to be honest. You know, just a podium here would have been amazing. But, you know, somebody was watching out for me. You know, they watched out for me when I was in hospital, and now there they were again.
At what point around during that last lap did you realise that this was your time?
It was really hard, the last 2 laps, actually. For some reason, I lost a little bit of focus when I heard 2 laps to go. I was checking those guys, more or less the similar pace, and it was difficult because even though I tried to focus on the track, I could see the flags, I could see everybody standing up, and I was like, come on now, come on, keep on going, keep on going. Last 2 laps were probably the hardest of my recent career.
and Thiago.
The hardest and yet the most rewarding, and yeah, what a day.
Let's go.
It's been a real weekend of mixed emotions for so many drivers, for so many teams. Again, our hearts go out to Link & Co, and particularly to the family of their young technician who passed away so unexpectedly yesterday evening. And as Thiago said, you know, it would have been a great story for Tashi to win here. That he will win is probably highly likely. But sometimes there's the little fairy tale, and that was one. For Thiago Monteiro, the circle is complete. He is back on the top step of the podium, and he does it at home in Portugal, nearly 2 years on. Ivan Muller, Jan Erlaché for Link & Co in second and third. Michael Ashkanar went forward in every race, claimed his first ever win in WTCR. What a great weekend he's had. Jean-Carl Vernet in fifth ahead of Rob Huff, Nestor Girolami, Ted Björk, Marcin Kvar and Norbert Mikelic. And down towards the tail of the field, as he was in the first race, no points for Esteban Guerrieri, but as we head into the summer break, he is our points leader, 25 ahead of Norby. For Thiago Monteiro, it's been a long drought in Portugal. He won once before in his home country, not in his home city of Porto. He won in one of the 2 years we went to the roller coaster on the Algarve, that is the Circuito of Portimao. He won in 2010, and 9 years on, he wins again. Undoubtedly, he will have enjoyed that win in 2010, but I think this one will live on. The championship standings after our 6th of 10 race weekends. And as you can see, still a lot of very tight battles. But we are starting to look now at a smaller field of potential winners. The candidates are starting to thin out a little. Well, Matt Neal, racing on the streets is never easy, is it? Sometimes they make it look easy, but boy, you've got to have your wits about you in a place like this.
Yeah, I was just looking at the team standing, and KCMG aren't even on the...
Well, they were last.
The
they had
page.
26 points after qualifying.
What a weekend to
compared to
fight back. What a way to fight back like
407.
that.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's the start of...
Now,
there we go.
Now they're up to 97 points, but that's 310 behind Munich Motorsport, the other Honda team. And that's how tough the start to KCMG's season has been. But right now, all of that pain has vanished. Race 3 in Villarreal, Attila Tashi on the DHL pole ahead of Thiago Monteiro. Makes a great start. Good start too for Esteban Guerrieri to pick up a place from the grid, but his race ends early. Nicky Katzberg going the long way around the outside on lap 1. There's contact and damage. Katzberg and Guerrieri both out. Miguel Ashkanar lucky to escape that, as was Marcin Kvar on the outside. Tashi soon striking problems. Thiago Monteiro grabbing the lead, and Ivan Muller pouncing as well. He'd get by for second before the end of the lap, and Tashi was in free fall. A problem with the car saw him plunge down the order, just as Esteban Guerrieri had in race 1. Thiago Monteiro, when he took his joker lap, had real pressure from behind. Ivan Muller had already done his joker lap, and Thiago just got his nose back in front. A two-horse race to the end. Ashkanar was up into third before his joker lap. He dropped back down into a battle with Jean-Carl Vernet for fourth, which the Spaniard just held out. A race 2 winner would finish fourth just off the podium, but an emotional return to the top step for Thiago Monteiro ahead of Ivan Muller and Jan Erlaché. Been down in that crowd before now, with every man, woman and child shouting, Tiago, Tiago. This time, it's because he's won here in Villarreal. It's going to be even crazier. There is the crowd waiting at the podium for this man, our race 3 winner in Villarreal, the hometown hero, Tiago Monteiro. And again, Tiago finds out what it's like to be Norby in Hungary.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium of our race 3 of the FIA World Touring Car Cup by Oscaro. Ready? Please welcome onto the podium in 3rd position from Cyan Performance Link & Co. It's Jan Erlashe. From Cyan Racing Link & Co. in 2nd position, it's Ivan Muller. And your winner from KCMG, it's Tiago Monteiro. From KCMG, representing the winning team is Nicolas Duval. And now, the national anthem of both Tiago Monteiro and KCMG. APC IVR president will now, Jose Silva will now present the third position trophy to Cyan Performance Lincoln Co.'s Jan Erlashe. Ni Amoram, FPAK president, will now present the second position trophy to Cyan Racing Lincoln Co.'s Ivan Muller. Rui Santos, the mayor of Vila Real, will now present the winning driver trophy to KCMG's Tiago Monteiro.
Three generations there on the podium. Father, son, grandson.
Octavio Magalhães, the CEO of Magalhães & Company, will now present the winning team trophy to KCMG's Nicolas Deval.
And Nicola is Tiago's race engineer at KCMG. There's a great, colourful
Now, please come together for your official photographs.
Tiago, the winner here in Villarreal in 2016 as well, so that was 3 years ago, and this will be very familiar territory to him and the crowd. What a weekend of mixed emotions here in Villarreal. For Tiago Monteiro ending on a real high. Well, that is it from our European WTCR campaign on behalf of all the crew here. And for Matt Neal and Alex Legui, Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us for our 18 races so far. 12 more still to come in the season before we decide our champion. And I look forward to lots more emotional race weekends as we welcome back to Winner's Circle Tiago Monteiro. Our thoughts are with Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. as well. Well, that is it from Villarreal. And from all of us here to all of you, we'll see you next time out in China. For now, from Villarreal, goodbye for now.